Welcome back from the Easter break. This is the Dr. Love Show on Shine TV, and I am your host, Naa Ashorkor Adjei. With me here is always a wonderful guest who is abreast to give you all that you need to help curb all relationship crises. Let's take a commercial break. When we come back, the show is on. But before then, I want to acknowledge my sponsors, Fredco Construction Company Limited, Bueller's Collection, Apostle Felix Henry Dowu of Abundance Grace Apostolic Church, and Vince Makeover. Good evening.
Do you need an outfit for any occasion? Then worry no more. Bueller's Collections got you sorted. At Bueller's Collections, we have everything ladies and kids, which includes dresses for church, wedding occasions, office wears, and many more. We also have bags, shoes, jewelries, purses, clutches, and ladies' underwear. For more information, contact Bueller's Collections at 0558 690 790 or 0557 112508. We can also be located at Comty 2 opposite Santa Barbara School, close to PV or Bay Runabout. Bueller's Collections, we boast your confidence.
Welcome back from that break. If you just tuned in, this is the Dr. Love Show, the only place where all your relationship crises are resolved. I have with me here Pastor Dr. Patrick, and he's always ready and willing to give you all that you need to help solve your relationship crisis. Doctor, you are welcome.
Thank you so much. It's good to be back.
Yeah. It's really good to be back. We have a big task ahead of us, so we don't need to go for a long break. And once we are here, like we do always, we have to go on. But today we have a beautiful story, but it's just funny and somewhat, I can say, childish. Let me go straight to the story so we can digest it. Please, am I wrong? My husband and I have been married for a year now. I have two of my friends who are married too, and their husbands have cars. We don't have a car, and it bothers me, especially if I am to go somewhere with my friends. My husband is 28 years old, and I am 27. My friends' husbands are all in their 30s. But that's not a reason why my husband shouldn't have his own car. Well, we are married, so if something bothers me, I should tell him. So I complained a few times to him about we not having a car. I know he has some money in his account, which if he takes a small loan to add up, he could get us a car. But when I suggest it, he always says no. Hey, we have some kind of women in this life. Right, so he has been refusing to take the loan to buy the car till now. He keeps saying he won't take a loan to buy a car, and I am not happy about it. This has been a misunderstanding we've been having a lot of times. He is not bothered while I spend every day thinking about it. All my friends are driven around by their husbands, and I am just here. Taking taxis every time. It's tiring and shameful. Recently, I was having this same argument with my husband, and he told me to my face that my father at his age doesn't have a car. So what makes me think he will, at 28, should take a loan to buy a car? That statement really hurts me until now. I can't get over it. He's not sorry about it. Brakweku, I'm hurt. And I don't mind a divorce if this continues. Am I overreacting?
Wow.
Hey!
A big wow to this story. No, let me start from this angle. In the first place, when you read the beginning of the story, she begins with a question. Is she wrong? She's asked because it means that she has a little bit of conviction down within her that what she's doing is an overreaction. She's not doing the right thing. Because look, this lady has a basic problem or has a basic issue she first has to address, which has to do with peer pressure. She's allowing her friends to influence her marriage. And I think it's about time someone made her understand that once you get married, your focus, your concentration, and everything has to be on your marriage. Forget about what is going on in someone else's marriage. Yes, it's true. Your friends' husbands could be driving them, but do you know what goes on when they get to their house? Do you know some of the other issues they may be having in their marriage? So I think this woman really needs to have a second thought on this thing. And I'm even surprised she's considering divorce. Should the husband insist or continue insisting that he's not going to take a loan to buy a car? In the first place, who even advised her that it is wise to take a loan to buy a car? To make it look like a car is, how do you call it? Is so much of a necessity, something that without you can't live. No. So first of all, I think my lady has to really find a way of cutting off external influences, especially from those two friends that she's comparing herself to. She has to bring an end to that comparison she's been making between herself or her marriage and those two friends of hers. I don't know when the friendship started, but I'm tempted to think that they've been friends for long. That is how come even after getting married, they still stay in touch, and she even has the effrontery to compare her marriage to that of those friends. But I think in the first place, she's not doing her husband any good. Neither is she doing herself any good. Neither is she doing the marriage any good. I believe she has assessed the husband and she knows the financial capacity of the husband.
I think she mentioned it.
She mentioned
she still wants him to get a loan and add up to all the money in his account just for a car.
And then at the end of the day, the husband at the end of every month has to be paying for that loan. Would the husband still be able to have enough money to take care of the home? I don't know if she mentioned it. Do they have kids? I don't think she mentioned that in the story. So should they have kids at home? Those kids need to be taken care of, and there would be other things that have to be taken care of in the house. And all you want is your husband to invest all the money he has into buying a car. My lady, please. I don't think you are really doing yourself any good.
Come to think of it, those you are comparing your husband to are in their 30s. And your husband
is even yet to be in her 30s. You see? So I think she's not doing herself any good. And my concern has to do with the fact that she's comparing herself with her friends. Look, marriage is not about comparison. Everybody has his or her own path God has charted for. So you don't, at a certain point in your life, say that if this friend of mine has this and I don't have it, it means I'm lagging behind. No. You should be grateful to God for where you are. You should be thankful to God for where He has brought you. Because look, what you have, someone else is craving for. And the fact that you have it or the fact that you don't have it doesn't mean you can't do without. Thankfully, at least she gets the money, or her husband gives her the money to be taking taxis, and then sometimes I believe she ends up ordering for Uber and all those things. She should thank God for that. Some husbands are not able to even provide those monies for their wives to be taking taxis. Some people have to do with trust all throughout their marriage. They are not even complaining. So I think this lady should really have a second thought on this very subject matter. She shouldn't force the husband by hook or crook to get them a car. I believe that when the husband's financial status rises to the level where he can afford and still have a comfortable life with her, he would buy the car.
Who doesn't like comfortability?
Who doesn't like comfortable? But you see, comfortability comes with a lot of responsibilities. Yeah. And you see, buying the car doesn't end there. There will come times where you would have to be servicing the car. A car is not an asset that brings or that generates money. It will always take away your money. So if you don't have that extra money to be spending servicing the car, to be spending on buying one or two things to ensure the car is always kept in a good state, how are you going to go through handling of the car?
I think she had better let her friends know that she once had a car and it got spoiled.
Well, you see, that one would even amount to trying to please your friends.
Yes.
But who are you pleasing in the marriage? Who should you be comparing yourself to in the marriage? It is you and your husband. The fact that, again, your friends have it doesn't mean you should, by hook or crook, have it. When the time is due and your financial capabilities rise to that level, you will be able to afford it. The husband will be able to afford it. So, my dear, don't put pressure on your husband. Well, if you keep on putting the pressure, then I might as well suggest to you that you go take your little savings you have, add up to the money your husband has, and then go buy the car. And I don't think she would be ready to do that. And I don't even think she has it, because if she has it, she wouldn't advise the husband to go for a loan. You get, so it means if the husband doesn't have it, he doesn't have it. Manage with what you have and what your husband is able to provide for you to help you do your rounds on daily basis. Appreciate him for that and stop comparing yourself with your friends. It is not healthy for your relationship and the marriage for that matter. I wouldn't advise the husband to go and empty his account, top up with a loan to buy a car. No. Manage with what you have. And as time goes on, trust God that He would bless you the more financially so that you would be able to afford it. And I'm even shocked again, like I mentioned from the beginning, that she is considering divorce. You see, but then again, whilst we are trying to advise this woman, let me also address something the husband also did, which she mentioned. That at a point, the husband told her straight to her face that her dad, at his age, didn't have a car. Okay, I think it was a little bit of an overstretch. So personally, I don't normally advise couples to be using their in-laws, okay, to be comparing their in-laws or to use them as examples in their marriage. It's not healthy for the relationship or for the marriage.
But in this case, I'm thinking it's because the lady overdid.
Well, so maybe, yes, you could understand the
anger to control
Yes,
him.
exactly. But going forward, I would really advise married couples not to be using their spouses or their in-laws. Okay, your father is like this, I'm better than your father, I'm better than your mother, I can cook better than your mother, I can handle the house better than you. All those things, they are not necessary. Look, once you get married, your concentration and your focus has to be on the both of you. And definitely you are going to have weaknesses and all that. The person you got married to is not 100% perfect. So try on helping each other become better people. Leave your in-laws out. Leave your parents out. Focus on yourself and make sure that you are able to help the marriage grow the way it ought to. Okay, so I think this goes for the husband too. But of course, like you said, the wife may have pushed him to the extent where he had to use the father as an example.
Yes, okay. But it doesn't mean it's right.
Exactly, yes. It doesn't mean it's right.
He still needs to be careful.
Yes. I think it's also key we also establish that fact. Okay, so my lady, please stop pressurizing your husband. Handling a car is not a joke. See, handling a car is not a joke. And look, if you buy a car today, immediately you start using, the value starts depreciating. So don't think that if you bought a car for an X amount 5 years ago and you want to get rid of it maybe after 10 years or after 6 years, or you're going to get the same price for it, it will devalue. Okay, if she had advised him to invest the money so that over time they can get returns which could also be used, exactly. Okay, I would have even applauded her for that. But come on, if currently the money would not be enough to buy the car, please live within your means. Stop comparing yourself and enjoy the marriage.
Yeah, we have some kind of women that, not women per se, but there are some kind of people that allow little things to give them pressure, and then they go out of their ways.
Yes.
And with this story, I think sometimes I would like to advise that sometimes we shouldn't pressurize others. Maybe you are in a relationship with someone or someone you are married to, or a family member, a friend or something. Then you be giving the person pressure, knowing very well, because in this situation, this lady mentioned that she knows the exact amount in the husband's account, and it cannot afford a car.
Exactly.
But she is advising or pushing him to get a loan to add on top.
Exactly.
Sometimes we shouldn't pressurize people on
exactly.
things that...
And you see, let me also use this as an opportunity to advise, because I strongly want to believe that maybe the gentleman may not have paid attention when they were in a relationship, when they were courting. But I also think that it should be one of the red flags we should look out for. If also you are dating the woman, you realize, or the whoever it is, whether the man or the woman, and you realize that there are times when the person makes certain demands, especially if the person knows that this person I'm dating at this stage of his or her life, he can't give me this, she can't give me this. And yes, so you would want to pressurize the person. You see, most of the time, if you are not able to get someone who would be able to control himself or control herself and has to end up going outside her means or his means to get a thing for you, at times you would push the person to do what ideally he or she shouldn't do. So I think our young men and women out there should also use this as red flag during a relationship, so that if you meet a woman or a man who would want to force you negatively to go beyond what you on a normal day can afford and can do, please advise yourself before you enter into the marriage and then it starts creating problems. Because if you don't do and you marry the person will keep putting up that attitude. So and you see, sometimes they would go like, maybe whatever you do to get me this, do and get me this. I don't care. You see, and immediately people start making such statements, it's very, very serious and dangerous.
Can I attribute this to feeling like what somebody has, feeling entitled to what somebody has?
Exactly. Peer pressure, external influence.
People feel that, oh, I can look at you and say that you take 1,000 cedis, 2,000 cedis, so you need to give me more. Not in a relationship per se, but there are people like that.
Yes, there are. You know, there are some. Okay, I think the dynamics to this is such that you should study the person very well and get to know the kind of person he or she is. You know, there are some who can afford, but due to stinginess, they wouldn't.
Okay.
There are that group of people. He has it. He can afford. Even if he takes out the money to buy it, he wouldn't lose. There are some who can buy certain kinds of cars and still have a comfortable life. But because he's stingy, because she's stingy, she wouldn't or he wouldn't want to release the money to get that thing done. There are those kinds of people. And there are people too who genuinely don't have. And such people, it would be good for them if they live within their means. Okay, so I think you should really study and get to know the kind of person you are dealing with before you start making demands. Even if you know the person can afford and yet is refusing, I want to believe that the person should have a certain reason why he or she would be refusing to do that.
That is where entitlement comes in.
Exactly.
You shouldn't feel entitled to somebody's property, pocket money or whatever. And the person may have plans for that.
Exactly.
Maybe that car you are talking about is not part of the plan at the moment, but it may come.
Along the line, it will pop up.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you're not careful and then you overstretch this, he will tell you that why don't you go and take your own money and buy the car with your money if you so much need it. And I don't think he will be far from wrong if he tells you that, especially if you keep putting the pressure on him. My lady, please, let your husband be. Let him have the peace of mind he needs to run the home. Allow yourself to have a wonderful marriage. If your man can't afford the car now, that's the one that he's able to, or whatever he's able to afford and helps you with now. Thank him for that. Anytime he gives you the money for the taxi, oh sweetheart, thank you for giving me money for the taxi. You get it? So that if you do that, he would feel appreciated and he would even do for you more. But if you take this approach of making yourself feel entitled to a car at the stage when you know you can't afford one, please, you are not helping the marriage.
Thank you so much also for taking time to speak with us. And I hope it has been digested, well digested, so our viewers have no problem concerning this. I want to ask if you have any greeting message for anyone.
Well, like I always do, I want to extend my warmest regards to my church family back home, FGCI Tama Solution Chapel, and then also my father, in the person of Bishop Delafiagum, the president of FGCI, and then also my senior pastor, whom I'm currently serving under, in the person of Reverend Ofori. I want to say a big thank you to all of them for the opportunity to serve. I don't take it lightly, and I'm very much grateful. Thank you so much. And let me do this. I also want to send a big warmest appreciation to Mr. Shine for this opportunity to be on this show. It's a great
God bless
opportunity.
him so
I want to
much.
say God bless him so much and
So much.
thank him so much for this
So
opportunity.
much. Thank you for taking time to join us. Viewers, this is where time will permit us to come to the end of today's episode. My name is Naa Ashorkor Adjei. This is Shine TV and the Dr. Love Show, proudly sponsored by Fredco Construction Company Limited, Bueller's Collection, Vince Makeover, and Apostle Felix Henry Dowu of the Abundance Grace Apostolic Church. You can join us every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. prompt. Enjoy the rest of your evening.